If you've ever spent any amount of time teaching even moderately computer literate adolescents in a tech enabled classroom, you already know we have a problem. These youngsters have the world at their fingertips, brushing against the apex of human innovation and not understanding a lick of it. Meanwhile, the horde of teachers behind them are pulling out their hair, decrying the fall of civilization as students let AI do the thinking for them. In the eyes of many, the rise of artificial intelligence marks the beginning of the end. Well, maybe. Maybe not. Perhaps there is a role for AI in the modern era of education, and that's exactly what we're going to dive into today. But who am I to be talking about this? Plainly speaking, I'm a public school science teacher with over 13 years of experience under my belt. I'm also a master's in STEM education candidate through the American College of Education. This presentation isn't just my capstone experience, it's also a passion project. The topic of AI in education has come up at nearly every convention and STEM seminar I've attended over the past few years. And honestly, it feels like every day I'm hearing about a new use or integration for AI tools in the classroom. More importantly, I know my students are experiencing the same thing, even if they don't fully realize how prevalent AI already is in their everyday lives. So, what is the role of AI in education? It's an important conversation to have. So, let's have it. First off, let's state the obvious. Artificial intelligence is no longer futuristic. It's here. It's in every Google search, every time you ask Siri a question, every time Spotify curates your perfect playlist. Industry is using AI at an increasing rate and not in experimental ways, in practical, everyday ways. An article published by the University of San Diego listed 10 examples of how AI is already supporting business operations: customer relationship management, employee upskilling, efficient processes, marketing research, productivity, creativity, security, personalization, decision making and strategy, and talent acquisition and management. This isn't a list of what could be enhanced by AI, it's what is being enhanced by AI. And that's where we, as educators, come in. It's our job to teach students how to use these tools effectively, ethically, and responsibly as we prepare them for the career paths they'll one day travel. When we talk about AI in education, we're largely talking about large language models, or LLMs, tools like OpenAI, the powerhouse behind ChatGPT, or Google's Gemini. These are systems designed to mimic human decision making. They analyze data, generate content, and even predict needs, whether those needs belong to a business, a teacher, or a student. Because these models excel at pattern recognition, they're constantly evolving. They learn from the data they encounter, which makes them adaptable and also a little unpredictable. In the classroom, that adaptability can be powerful. Adaptive learning platforms personalize instruction based on student progress, while writing assistants like the ubiquitous Grammarly can improve clarity and fluency in student writing. Even quiz generators like Wayground or Gimkit now use AI to help teachers generate standards aligned practice quizzes in a matter of seconds. These tools are no longer add ons or gimmicks. They're quietly becoming the foundation of how learning content is generated and delivered. Earlier this year, I did a book study on Joan Monahan Watson's Learning with AI, the K 12 Teacher's Guide to a New Era of Human Learning. Not only was it deeply informative, but it also provided a lot of food for thought. One quote in particular gave me a lot to chew on. The assertion that AI will soon replace teachers is as preposterous as it is dystopian. In fact, our role is more crucial than ever. Students need to see AI as a tool to enhance their critical thinking and creativity, not as a replacement. That one line, I think, sums up all the fears and anxieties that we as teachers have when it comes to AI. Watson emphasizes that AI should extend human learning, not automate it, urging teachers to focus on curiosity, inquiry, and critical thinking. AI is a tool, and like any other tool, students have to be taught how to use it. I've yet to meet a child who instinctively knows how to use a protractor. Watson's words aren't isolated. In fact, they echo through much of the current research being done on AI in education. Across the board, scholars seem to agree on one key point. Artificial intelligence has enormous potential in the classroom, but its impact depends entirely on how we choose to use it. For example, Yim and Su conducted a scoping review in 2025 in the Journal of Computers and Education that examined 46 studies on AI learning tools in K 12 education. Their findings showed that students who used AI in project based or game based learning environments not only improved their technical skills, but also their creativity, communication, and problem solving abilities. They concluded that AI works best when it's paired with constructivist, hands on learning experiences. In other words, when students learn by doing, not just consuming. A few years earlier, in the International Journal of Education Technology in Higher Ed, Seo and her colleagues explored how AI impacts the interaction between learners and instructors in online settings. They found that AI can provide personalized, just in time feedback and support, which helps students stay engaged. But they also raised an important caution. When we rely too heavily on automated systems, we risk losing the human presence that makes education relational. In other words, AI should enhance connection, not replace it. Another student study in that same journal by Walter in 2024 tackled the topic from a literacy standpoint. He emphasized that AI literacy, understanding how AI works, how to prompt it, and how to evaluate its output, is becoming a new life skill, just like reading or writing. Walter argued that every student should learn how to interact with AI ethically and creatively, while also recognizing its biases and limitations. He even called AI literacy a vital skill for the 21st century, which I think is absolutely true. And most recently, Viriu and Petria published a study in Education Sciences showing that students who used AI based learning tools often reported higher engagement and improved performance. But there's a trade off. Those same students sometimes show reduced critical thinking and a greater tendency to let AI do too much of the intellectual heavy lifting. Their conclusion was clear. AI enhances learning efficiency only when guided by strong ethical frameworks and teacher oversight. Taken together, these studies tell a consistent story. AI can strengthen learning, deepen engagement, and personalize instruction, but only if it remains teacher led and ethically grounded. We're the ones who set the tone for how it's used. And that, I think, is both the challenge and the opportunity of this new era of education. So the research paints a clear picture. AI can be a powerful tool for engagement, creativity, and personalized learning when used thoughtfully and ethically. But all of that leads to the real question every teacher has. What does that actually look like in the classroom? The good news is that we don't have to imagine it. AI is already here, woven into tools that many of us use every single day, often without even realizing it. Let's take a look at some of the practical ways AI is already making its mark in education. Grammarly, for instance, uses generative AI to suggest phrasing, tone, and clarity adjustments. It's not just catching typos anymore, it's learning from our writing and helping us refine it. Teachers and students still need to be careful, however. While Grammarly can refine our writing, it should not replace our understanding of rules of grammar. Additionally, words written by an AI, even if they are based on a user's prompt, are not considered the user's own words, which may lead to ethical issues when it comes to plagiarism policies. On the other hand, quiz generators, like Gimkit's Generate with AI feature, are helping teachers, and in some cases students, create standards aligned quizzes and review tools in seconds. These tools use large language models to analyze prompts and automatically produce practice questions. Still, the products of these tools must be thoroughly vetted and reviewed before use. Large language models use the entirety of the internet to generate content, which can sometimes include commonly held misconceptions and outdated information. In the creative realm, platforms like Canva's Magic Write or Magic Media enable visual storytelling and lesson design to be completed faster than ever before. We can generate prompts, images, and slides with just a few keystrokes, giving us more time to focus on how students engage with the material, not just how we build it. For student use, these same tools can be used to great effect if used with intentionality. User beware, generative AI should not become a replacement for creativity, and one should watch for over reliance. Some of the tools that used to rely on AI, like Quizlet's QChat, have since been retired, but that's actually a great reminder of how fast this field moves. In their place, we now have tools like Diffit, Eduade, and Magic School, which help teachers differentiate reading passages, build rubrics, or even generate parent letters in seconds. These platforms don't replace teacher judgment. They simply save time on the heavy lifting so we can focus on the teaching, not the typing. One of the most practical ways teachers are already using AI is in the area of assessment and feedback. AI can help us design assessments faster, analyze data more effectively, and even provide differentiated feedback, but only when we stay in control of the process. Tools like Magic School and Eduade now offer automated rubric creation, reflection prompts, and parent feedback templates. These save time, but they also require a teacher's judgment to ensure accuracy and tone. Here's a personal example from my own practice. I was analyzing quiz data and looking for a fair way to curve student grades. Instead of manually calculating every scenario, I asked ChatGPT to model a few curving methods for me, including one based on a square root function. It didn't make the decision for me, but it helped me compare outcomes, spot patterns, and ensure that any curve I applied remained fair and transparent. That's what ethical AI use looks like in assessment. It's not replacing teacher judgment, it's informing it. The teacher stays the decision maker. AI just gives us a new way to visualize the data and reflect on our choices. Now, all of these tools and capabilities are exciting, but they also come with serious responsibilities for us and for our students. AI systems learn from the data they're trained on, and that data often includes bias, social bias, cultural bias, and linguistic bias. That means the responses AI give us aren't always neutral or fair. They're reflections on the internet's collective input, the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's where ethics enters the conversation. As teachers, we have to model what responsible use looks like, questioning the accuracy of AI output, verifying sources, and acknowledging when we use these tools. Bias is another critical issue. AI doesn't understand context the way humans do. It can misrepresent cultures, reinforce stereotypes, or provide one sided perspectives if we're not careful. Our role is to help students think critically about what they read and what they generate and how they use it. And then there's digital citizenship, something we've been teaching for years, but it's now evolving. We're moving from don't share personal information online to how do I ethically use tools that think with me? Students need to understand that AI is not an all knowing oracle. It's a tool that requires human discernment. When we teach them to question, verify, and use AI transparently, we're building digital citizens who can thrive in this new landscape. At the end of the day, the goal isn't to make students afraid of AI, it's to make them aware, to help them see that ethics isn't just a boundary, it's a skill. The same curiosity that drives them to explore should also drive them to ask, is this accurate? Is this fair? Is this responsible? We've covered a lot of ground today, from what AI actually is, to how it's reshaping classrooms, to what the research says, and how we can use it responsibly. But as we move forward, I think the most important question we can ask ourselves is this: how can AI help us do what we've always done best? Teach students to think. The technology will keep changing, tools will come and go, but our core mission as educators stays the same: to inspire curiosity, foster creativity, and help students build the skills to navigate a changing world. So, my challenge to you is simple: experiment. Try an AI tool for a lesson design or differentiation. Model ethics. Show your students what responsible use looks like. And stay curious. Let your questions lead you, not your fear of the unknown. Remember, AI is not here to replace teachers. It's here to remind us why teaching, human, authentic teaching, matters more than ever. Thank you for joining me and for the work you do every day to prepare our students for a future that's already here.